Hey everybody, it's like 6:10 or something.
6:12.
6:12, Jesus Christ. So we're late. Sorry about that. Couldn't be helped. We apologize though. And it's on a weird night too. Usually, it's 6 p.m. Monday, AEW Weekly, but this week it just wasn't gonna happen. So we thought it was gonna be Tuesday, and that didn't happen. And now here we are. It's Wednesday, 6:12.
So we're getting you hyped
Yes.
for AEW tonight.
Exactly. So sorry. We'll be back to our normal Monday at 6 next week. Just watch for us in our normal spots next week, Monday at 6. And if you're not watching this live, well, thanks for watching. Okay, so I didn't even introduce this. This is No Bones About Wrestling. We present AEW Weekly. I'm your host Asa, and beside me is my permanent co-host Kay Fabulous.
Okay.
And tonight we're going to start doing things a little differently tonight. Usually we take a bit of time to do the we kind of talk through the TV shows, talk through them quite a bit actually. At least Dynamite and Collision we talk through. We're changing it. We're going to give you the TV results pretty quickly. We're still going to give the bone ratings, tell you how good the matches or bad the matches were. So we're still going to do the bone ratings, but like I said, we're just going to do the TV more quickly, as you're about to see. And we're doing that just so we can do new, some new bits. What's the word I'm looking for? New segments. Thank you. So we're doing that so we can do new segments, and so we can get to, instead of talking about like the details of a match, we can get to talking about kind of the specifics of AEW, what's going on, how we feel about it, all that stuff. We just want to be able to bring more of that to you.
Yeah, it allows for more discussion.
Right. So that's what we're going to do. And hopefully you like it. We'll see if it works. I think it will. So if you don't like the change, let us know. If you do like the change, let us know. And of course, we always welcome your comments. Get in the comment section. Let us know. Just say hi, or let us know a thought you have. You can agree with us. You can disagree with us. Just whichever one you do, just be nice about it. Because if you're nice, we'll put the comment on. We'll probably talk about it. If you're not nice, you're gonna get kicked out.
So they can only comment if they agree with me.
If they agree with you?
If they agree with me. Because I'm always right, and I don't want any comments that are incorrect. So if they're disagreeing with me, they're just wrong.
That's not correct. We welcome all pleasant commenters are welcome.
It's true.
Okay. AEW Dynamite. It feels like a long time ago now, but July 24th. It's been a long week.
Blood and guts.
Yeah, it was Blood and Guts in Nashville, Tennessee. Opening matchup, FTW title match, the For the World title. Chris Jericho, of course, always helped by his branches, his saplings, Big Bill and Brian Keith. He took on...
They're banned from this match.
Right, they were banned. Well, they showed up eventually, though, right?
That was after the match.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. They were banned from ringside for this match. So it's just Jericho one-on-one with Minoru Suzuki, Murder Grandpa, as they call him, from Japan. This match was awful.
It was terrible.
They spent at least the first, 10 minutes, would you say?
It was the whole match. I don't remember anything besides chops.
They spent, I didn't have a stopwatch or anything, or whatever, a cell phone, whatever the fuck you use nowadays. I wasn't timing it, is my point.
The sundial wasn't getting any light at the time.
I wasn't timing it, but it felt like they spent, and I think that it's accurate, they spent the first 10 minutes of the match just chopping each other. Chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping. Just taking turns, seeing how hard and loud they could chop one another. And it seems like some people in the audience really like that. I really hate it. I think it's boring. Sometimes it's fun. But But here's the thing: in AEW, I don't want to go on a long rant. Like I said, we're gonna make the TV shows go more quickly. But I got to talk about this. In AEW, the chopping thing, like we see it in at least half the matches now, right? If not half the matches, say 1/3 of the matches.
Oh, I thought half was like a low estimate.
No, I say at least 1/3 of the matches. We see all the chopping back and forth. Who can make it the loudest and hurt the most? It's just a waste of time. Like, wouldn't you rather be seeing wrestling moves and a battle, a back and forth battle of wrestling moves? I would. And Bret Hart, what he always said about the chopping, he said the whole point of the thing is that you don't really get hurt. So why would you want to do something where you intentionally hurt each other? It's stupid. That's what Bret Hart felt about it.
Bret Fart.
I almost called him Bret Hart. I did almost call him Bret Hart. That's not how I feel about him. I love Bret Hart.
Oh,
But I did nearly call him Bret Hart. Yes, you heard it. But yeah, the chop thing, they got to get it under control. Like, maybe one match a night could do the chops. Because, like I said, it's just, they start it. And now at this point, I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. It's just, it's boring. So hopefully they'll get away from that. I don't mean to start the show negative, but that's the first match we're talking about. So it's going to be negative. That's one of the lowest ratings I've ever given. And I only gave it one. I tell you, Jericho won, kept his belt, and then Brian Keith and Big Bill ran in. I gave it 1 bone out of 5. And the only reason it rose above 0 bones is because by the point they were done chopping, Jericho's chest looked like a bloody steak. He had Suzuki opened up. He opened up a wound on Jericho's chest, and it was not pleasant looking.
Jericho broke his pinky in the match.
Well, I don't know if that's legit. That's what they said on TV.
That's what they said on TV. I believe them. You're not gonna believe what they say on TV. The TV wouldn't lie to us.
I believe it's possible, but I don't really believe he did.
He had his hand on like a little thing.
We'll see. That usually takes, and I know this, folks, that usually takes at least 3 to 4 weeks to heal. If it's the kind of injury, the kind of minor break that I'm thinking it would be, usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks to heal. So we'll see. We'll see if he really is injured. Next up, we had the returning Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, take on Hikaru Shida, a battle of 2 former women's world champions. And it was a pretty good match. Baker, I think, had just a little ring rust. She's been away for, what, a year and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Or no, last fall.
Last fall? Right?
Last fall.
Oh, it felt like longer. Yeah. Excuse me. Been away for nearly a year then. So you're gonna have a little ring rust. It wasn't bad or anything. Just she wasn't as smooth as we're used to.
Well, even before she left, she had cut way back on her matches. Like I think that year was 2023. She only had like a handful before she went out injured.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good match. Britt Baker won her first match back, and I gave it 3.5 bones out of 5. Up next, we had Pac, former international champion, taking on Boulder of the Iron Savages. And if you know the show, I hate the fucking Iron Savages. I don't understand why they're on TV, and I'll say that every time they are. But it was a squash match. Pac won easily. Up next, Mariah May had a squash match, the number 1 contender to the women's world title, and she defeated Caitlin Alexis, whoever that is. And the main event, they gave it about an hour. Of course, it was the blood and guts match, and it was fantastic. Hard fought, and if you heard me last week, I was talking about this is one of my favorite events annually for AEW, the blood and guts match. I love it. I love the the rules, which Dusty Rhodes invented it. man, almost 40 years ago. Jesus. Dusty Rhodes invented the rules back when it was called NWA War Games. And but so now AEW has, stolen, borrowed, whatever, the rules. Used the rules, yeah. And it's AEW Blood and Guts. It's the exact same rules, which is, I mean, they had it perfect, so why change it? But yeah, I love it. Every year, I think it usually delivers, and it did this year. Innovative match, bloody match, good use of weapons, some good, good storytelling with the heels. Always having the man advantage, 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, etc.
Well, and they extended that advantage by not allowing Swerve to enter the ring by handcuffing him to the outside.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Team AEW beat Team Elite, and I gave this match 5 bones out of 5. Fantastic match. And that's the match of the night on Dynamite, and that was the match of the week for AEW.
Sure.
Yeah, just a terrific match. I have no complaints. It was nearly an hour. I'm not sure how close to an hour, and it was entertaining the whole time. Great match.
Yeah. I will note, because they can end either by submission or surrender. This one ended by surrender when Matt Jackson surrendered to Darby Allin because he had handcuffed
Jack Perry
to the inside of the cage, sort of crucifix style, and then poured gasoline all over him. And he had like one of those long candle lighter things, and said he was going to light him on fire if the Elite didn't surrender again.
Light him on fire again.
Yeah. Not from this match, but from several weeks ago.
All right. So yeah, good show. Weird. Dynamite. Strange show this week. 2 squash matches, one bone match, and then a 3.5 bone match and 5 bone match. So very uneven show.
Yeah, can I talk to Tony Khan for a minute here? Because I know that he's listening.
I guess.
So when you have this special show that happens once a year that you like make T-shirts for and everyone looks forward to, that needs to be a show that you are proud of. Like,
yeah.
To start out with a 10-minute chopping session between 2 older wrestlers, one of whom a lot of people don't know, which is fine because I like Minoru Suzuki, but still having that be your opener and then to follow it with 2 squash matches before you get to Blood and Guts.
No, they did the women and then 2 squash matches.
I'm sorry, the women, then 2 squash matches. Still following it, but just not immediately. I don't know, I feel like any new viewers that were like, oh, Blood and Guts, I'm going to check this out. Like 5 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes into that first match, I would be done.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I didn't know AEW, I would have changed the channel for sure. Yeah,
they always seem to miss the mark with these like big opportunities to hook in new viewers. Same thing happens to like almost every show immediately following a pay-per-view. When like people might finally be tuning in for the first time, and then it's like it doesn't deliver.
Yeah, like a lot of times they'll give people the week off after a pay-per-view when it's like that's exactly when you need to be on to capitalize on people who saw the pay-per-view and who want to tell their buds, hey, I saw this pay-per-view, it was fucking awesome. Watch the show Wednesday. And then they, like you said, they'll under-deliver sometimes. Anyways, okay, Friday, we had a good show. Rampage, a lot of times, a lot of people don't watch it. I always tell them, watch it. It's a good hour of wrestling. It's a lot of times they just won't even show the entrances of the wrestlers. They just get right to the match, and there are some interviews, but pretty much they just try and pack a lot of wrestling into an hour, and it's fun. And, you get to see a lot of B and C guys, and then sometimes some A guys. And on this show, there was some A talent because they had what they call Royal Rampage, where they have, I don't even know the number of wrestlers, but they had 2 rings and a battle royal to see who gets the world title shot at AEW Grand Slam, which is September 20-something.
25th?
I don't know.
Pretty sure.
Okay, so let's say September 25th. Maybe. So yeah. Let's see who was in the Battle Royal. Claudio Castagnoli, Orange Cassidy, Brody King, Commander, Brian Cage, Ishii, The Butcher, Matt Menard, Brandon Cutler, Kyle O'Reilly, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Jay Lethal, Kip Sabian, Leo Rush, and Darby Allin, who was the winner. Darby Allin outlasted all those guys and earned a world title shot. And Darby has not had many of those. I can't remember. He just had at least one on a pay-per-view. He had one. I'm not sure how many others he's had, but
that was a 4-way though.
yes, what title
I know,
shot?
I'm just saying. This is, I think it's maybe his first like one-on-one.
It may be. So yeah, that's your going to be probably your main event at Grand Slam. Will either be Swerve Strickland or Bryan Danielson taking on Darby Allin. So also on Rampage, Chris Statlander beat Layla Gray. Lance Archer beat a jobber who they did not name on the show, and AEW didn't even name him on their website. So we don't know who he was. There's 2 squash matches there.
Oh, that was Collision that they didn't name him. I guess
I'm sorry.
Collision and Rampage, apparently.
Oh,
if I didn't write a name down.
You didn't write a name down
Yeah.
for Rampage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was two in a row.
And we had a 4-way tag team match. Had the Righteous, Private Party, the Outrunners, and Roosh and Kyle Fletcher. That's his name, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Roosh and Fletcher won. And they're both members of the Callis family. It took me a minute to remember Roosh was in the Callis family. But yeah, they won the 4-way there with 3 other teams who, frankly, don't win a lot of matches. And let's see, K Fabulous is going to take you through Collision here real quick.
And Battle of the Belts.
And Battle of the Belts 11. That was Saturday night as well.
So we kicked off Collision with a good match. It was Orange Cassidy versus Johnny TV, who was accompanied by Taya Valkyrie. After a beach break, followed by an Orange Punch, Orange Cassidy came out the victor. I give this 4 bones out of 5. Afterwards, Taya Valkyrie beat up Orange Cassidy and Willow ran in for the save. I feel like that's relevant with story, so I'm including it. Next, we had Claudio and Yuta versus.
I just want to point out, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to let you know, K Fabulous, this is her first time being allowed to give out the bone ratings. I always do it.
And it's not because I've been good. It's just circumstances made it so.
Yeah. So, this Collision, she's giving out the bone ratings, not me. Just to let you know.
It was nerve-wracking.
So here, go ahead. Sorry.
So in the next match, we have a 3-way tag with Claudio and Yuta from the BCC versus Moriarty and Brian Cage. It was supposed to be Shane Taylor, but he's injured. So Brian Cage took his place versus Top Flights.
Moriarty just won the Ring of Honor Pure title on their pay-per-view Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah, on Friday. It was awesome. And then you have the infantry watching from the back. Yuta pinned Darius with a seatbelt pin. And that was 4 bones. It would have been higher, but Darius had multiple missed spots, which is so unusual for him. I
saw that.
Kind of couldn't believe it was happening. But it happened twice.
Dante Martin looked great, though, as always.
Yeah. And Darius normally is fairly flawless, too. Just this time, he wasn't. Next up is my match of the night, which is the Beast Mortos versus Hologram. My jaw literally dropped at one point during this match. Like, literally, I was sitting there with my mouth open, and, like, I was watching it by myself, and so with the dog, I was like, oh my gosh, did you see that? And then, like, obviously the dog couldn't say anything. So Hologram wins with a crucifix bomb off the top rope, rolling into what I'm going to call a crucifix pin, because the announcers didn't say what kind of pin it was, and it didn't say online, but he was like upside down with like his arms pinned down. Okay. So I'm calling it a upside down crucifix pin, Satan pin, I guess. So I'm giving that 4.5 bones, and that is the match of the night.
Yeah.
Would have been match of the week, except it was Blood and Guts Dynamite.
Great match. Great match.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them what you would give it if you had been?
I mean, just since you bring it up, I would have given it 5 bones. I don't know how you say it could have been better. Man, Hologram is so impressive. It's only his second match in AEW. and already people were chanting his name. I mean, his moves were so amazing. People were screaming and chanting after nearly each one.
Yeah.
And that's not to take away from the Beast Mortos. That guy, as heavy as he is, the things that he does in the ring and out of the ring are almost unbelievable. And these two together in a match, fantastic. Fantastic. One of the best one-on-one matches that I've seen on AEW this year. I mean, they were pulling out spots that I'd never seen before. So it's fantastic lucha libre style match. But it even went, I love lucha libre, but it even went beyond that. I mean, it was just Hologram was hitting things that were amazing.
What's beyond lucha libre?
Whatever they did,
Yeah,
whatever that match
doesn't have a
was, I
name?
don't know. No,
Well, I did a half bone deduction because I didn't think it was long enough. I wanted more, and I was not given more.
I can understand that.
Yeah. So following that, which is a hard match to follow, you have Thunder Rosa versus Maya World, who apparently was nominated for the PWI Rookie of the Year for 2023. Based on this match,
I think then they say she won it.
No, they said nominated.
Oh, excuse me.
But based on this match, I don't see it. This was not good.
No, she was not good.
Yeah, she was not. I guess I should say this was not good. She was not good. Thunder Rosa wins with a version of the camel clutch, which caused my world to tap out. She does not appear to be ready for television yet.
No.
Let her cook a little while longer before we pull her out again, Did I say how many bones? 3 bones?
No.
3 bones. 3 bones for that match out of 5. Mainly, like, all those bones are Thunder Rosa by herself.
She looked good.
Yeah, she looks good. I feel like she's really... When she came back, she was a little bit, like, rusty, understandably so. I feel like that rust is gone now.
Yeah.
She's been putting on
She looks good, and she seems very determined.
Yes. She has the fire that we need to see from Lee Moriarty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because that's our chief complaint with him is he doesn't have the passion and the fire that you can't see it when he's wrestling.
Yeah.
With her, it's like almost overshadows her wrestling with her enthusiasm, and drive.
Yeah, she's very good at that.
Following that match, we have the premier athletes, which is Josh Woods, Ari Davari, and Tony Nese, accompanied by Smart Mark Sterling, who I love. And they're facing the conglomeration. This rendition of the conglomeration includes Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Ishii. The conglomeration get the win after O'Reilly puts an armbar on Woods, who tapped out. Surprising that Woods took the tap out there, but it was a good match. I gave it 3.5 bones.
Why is that surprising?
Because I would think Ari Davari would take it, because I've seen Josh Woods have solo matches where they like kind of push him a little bit, but I've never seen Ari Davari in a solo match.
Yeah, this was a good match.
Yeah, it was good. Match. Up next, we have a squash, Lance Archer versus Enhancement Talent. This is the person that I couldn't find their name even on AEW's website. They just said Enhancement Talent. So that's a bummer. I believe they called his move the Blackout and then the pin. It looked like a kind of like a power bomb. So following that, because there's always got to be at least one squash on Collision, or it's not Collision. After that, we have FTR versus the M&M Collection, which are the Maximum Male Models from the other company up north. They debuted on Ring of Honor last week, and this is their first match on AEW. So in this, some really innovative moves. I don't watch WWE, so I had never seen them wrestle before. Really cool stuff, especially from Mason. Just like his character shines through in his wrestling, which I always appreciate. And did some like cool combinations involving hip attacks, which I had never seen before. I enjoyed them.
From a man, you've never seen those hip attacks.
No, I'm talking about the combination I had never seen from anyone.
Oh, okay.
But also I had never seen a man do a hip attack, so that was cool too. So we the match ends when Dax pins Mansoor after the Shatter Machine. And if you're unfamiliar with them, Mansoor goes by the Iron Sheik, but Sheik is spelled Chic, and I love it.
It's pretty good.
It brings me joy.
The last time I saw these guys, it was in that what's that dirt wrestling? You know what I mean? When it's like the soft ground wrestling. Is that Uganda?
Oh, Uganda. Yeah.
Uganda?
Yeah, it's Uganda.
That's the last time I saw those two.
That's awesome. I didn't know they went there and wrestled. That's very cool. I thought you meant in WWE, and I was like, they had a soft ground match.
And they recently polled their fans if they should have a ring built or if they should keep it the way it was. I don't know how the poll came out, but that recently happened there.
That's cool.
If you haven't seen that, it's very interesting. Look it up. The soft ground wrestling. So
in Uganda.
Yep.
And so I give that bone. I give that match 3.5 bones out of 5. Solid tag match. Both, I mean, FTR is obviously the fucking shit, you know? But this tag team, which I honestly did not expect to like, mainly because of their gimmick, I really enjoyed. So good on them. And then up next, we have our main event, which is former international champion, former trios champion, Pac, versus Lio Rush. Lio tapped to the Brutalizer. I gave this match 4 bones. Normally main events kind of warrant more in my own opinion. But this one had a little bit of a slow start, which I took some points away for. But it picked up nicely by the end. Next up, immediately after Collision, we have Battle of the Belts. We have 3 matches, 2 eliminator matches, and 1 for the championships. So we started with Toni Storm versus Taya Valkyrie. This is an eliminator match. Toni delivered a headbutt followed by a Storm Zero for the pin and the win. Toni currently has the longest win streak in AEW. This was her 21st win in a row.
Nice.
I gave it 4 bones. Taya Valkyrie, I was not a fan when she first showed up in AEW. Like, I felt like she didn't deliver on the level that people talked about her at. But this match was great. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, keep it up, Taya. Next we have Willow Nightingale versus Deonna Purrazzo. This again is an eliminator match for a chance at Willow's CMLL Women's Championship. Willow drops Deonna on her head hard in this match, and then later Deonna pulls her off the turnbuckle into a Tree of Woe, but Willow's legs don't stick in the Tree of Woe and she lands on her head. It was a little bit of a mess. Taya does a run-in to help Deonna, but Thunder runs in to stop Taya, and so Willow delivers the Babe with the power bomb for the pin and the win. So Deonna does not get a title shot.
Let me interrupt your Battle of the Belts real quick. We just have somebody in the comments here. Castelar, Daniel Garcia, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, just reached out and wanted to say, love the infantry in Ring of Honor. That's cool. Yeah, I like them. We usually, we don't really cover Ring of Honor on this show, but we appreciate your comment.
Yeah.
And then he also had to say, Will Ospreay is a terrific performer. Yeah, could not agree more. I hate this past week we didn't get to see him. He got the week off, but he's probably my favorite wrestler in AEW. Probably my favorite wrestler wrestling right now, honestly.
Yeah.
Either number 1 or number 2 for me. El Hijo del Vikingo would be either number 1 or number 2. What do you think? Where do you put Will Ospreay? Number 1 in AEW?
Will Ospreay is number 1 for me.
And number 1 in the world?
Number 1 anywhere in the universe. Will Ospreay.
Yeah. So thank you for the comment. And
Yeah.
we totally agree. Yeah, he's usually featured in our show a bit. But like I said, he got this week off, so we'll see. We'll see how much we end up talking about him. But
well, hopefully he shows up on Dynamite tonight.
And one last comment, I'm sorry, from Castelar, Daniel Garcia. He said Christian is a magnificent heel in AEW. Yeah, definitely agree. One of their best additions, and definitely one of the best additions that they took from that other company up north. Yeah, great addition. He's so good at being a heel. Had a good TNT title run, and now I'm sure that the Patriarchy are going to do some good things with the World Trios titles, and you know, be bad heels. Kill Switch is injured right now, so I'm not sure how much they're going to be wrestling in trios, but we'll see.
He's going to work through the injury as
Oh,
well.
right. Yeah, I heard that. Okay. But yeah, Christian, yeah, great heel. Definitely. He adds a lot to their shows for sure.
And the infantry, even though they're primarily featured on Ring of Honor, they've been starting to show up more and more in AEW. And they showed up in Collision this week. They were shown watching the tag match from backstage.
Right.
Watching it on the television. And so last match for sorry, what's it written?
Battle of the Belts.
For Battle of the Belts, yes. We have our Ring of Honor 6-man final. This was Dustin Rhodes and Levon Eriks, who are Marshall and Ross, versus the Undisputed Kingdom, specifically the Kingdom, and Roderick Strong. And Dustin Rhodes and Levon Eriks won the right to be in this match during what's it called? Death Before Dishonor on Friday. And in this, Dustin gets the pin. He pins Matt Bennett after a sidewinder. And they are now the Ring of Honor 6-man champions. So awesome for Dustin to have a belt in AEW / Ring of Honor.
First one.
First one.
Well, and Ring of Honor.
And Ring of Honor. And the Von Erichs, who have only been on AEW TV like a handful of times, got some belts. It's exciting.
Cool.
Plus, like, just as a Ring of Honor fan, I'm really excited that those belts are back and they're not part of the AEW Trios titles anymore, because I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't care for that either. Yeah. I'm glad it's weird. Why did they even bother to unify them just to split them back apart? I don't know.
It's a great question.
But yeah, I'm glad they're back. Yeah, you got to go for the Von Erichs and Kevin Von Erich, their father. He was accompanying them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go for the Von Erichs. That family's been through so much tragedy. You got to cheer for those guys. And again, I almost always recommend it when we talk about them. The movie Iron Claw, The Iron Claw from 2023. Definitely give it a watch. Pretty cool movie telling the story about the Von Erich family, mostly talking about wrestling in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Very good movie. It's a downer, but it's very good. And the wrestling scenes are done very well for the most part, I think. Yeah, so check it out. And just another comment here from Castellar Daniel Garcia. And another, he said, I always loved Camille in the NWA. Glad she is in AEW now. Yeah, we don't watch NWA, the new NWA. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about her. I guess I should try and look her up. But I've heard a lot of good things about her, and yes, the way that they've been running the AEW women's division lately, and actually giving them angles and multiple matches per show, and adding women, it's great. Keep it going. That's what people thought would happen when Mercedes Moné showed up, and that's exactly what they've been doing. So yeah, great. Keep it going, guys.
Except for this week.
Yeah.
Or Collision. Collision had one women's.
And he also had to say, I went with my brother to see the Iron Claw in theaters, and there was a lot of people. Great. Yeah.
That was good.
I don't think it made a ton of money. I'm not sure if it flopped. I honestly don't know how much it made. I'd be curious to know. But yeah, very good movie. Very good. Very good movie, except for just a couple parts that I won't really spoil for you. But if you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, what's up next, Kay?
I don't know. Is that what you
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I made the order right. Now we have a segment called "Where's This Going?" This is where we take events from AEW television this week, and we ask, "Where's this going?" So Kay, usually I come up with these, and like I said, again this week, Kay did a lot more of the show than usual. Just I had stuff going on,
and it's summer, so I have nothing going on for another day. Yeah.
So yeah, she came up with the "Where's this going?" questions today. So let's see what she's got for us.
Also very nerve-wracking. So we have, I'm going to do this from Dynamite and then from Collision.
One last thing before
Okay.
we start. Castellar Daniel Garcia commenting a lot. Yeah, we love it.
Appreciate
Appreciate it. He said the Iron Claw was the era of the Fabulous Freebirds, the Great Kabuki, Bruiser Brody, Ric Flair, Eddie Gilbert, the Missing Link, Kamala, who is not running for vice president, but he's still alive, I
Not running
believe.
for vice president.
A lot of people say Kamala Harris.
Yeah, she's currently the vice president. She's running.
Oh,
for
excuse
president.
me, running for president. I fucked that up. I fucked that all up. But a lot of people call her Kamala Harris, but it's Kamala.
Yeah.
But if you like look her up on Wikipedia, it's like also people search for Kamala, or something like that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Anyways, and Harley Race, yeah, no, totally. It talks about one of my favorite eras of wrestling that I really try and watch as much of as I can because I've seen a bit, but not enough of it. So yeah, Iron Claw. If you don't know a lot about that era, it'll teach you something. It's not always accurate what it will teach you, but it's like 90% accurate, I'd say.
What are you talking about? What will it teach you?
No, I mean it'll show you kind of what that era was like. The territory.
I see. Okay.
The territory era, who was around in it, how it worked.
I took you should watch it to mean you should watch wrestling from that era, but you meant you should watch this movie.
You should watch a movie
90%
that will teach you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying wrestling from that era was 90% accurate, and I didn't understand. Okay.
And last comment I'm gonna say from Castellar Daniel Garcia said Malachi Black should be booked better. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying, man. We totally agree. He's another of our like top 5 favorite performers in AEW, and we've seen him in a couple more singles matches, I should say. So hopefully, we do see him get booked better. I don't understand why they've not made him one of their top stars. There's that rumor that he refuses to lose to a lot of people. I don't know if I really buy that. I don't know where the rumor came from, but it's a very popular rumor. So I don't want to spread it. I'm just saying it's out there.
Well, he's come out in response to that and been like, "That's not true."
Yeah. So I don't know if I should believe him. I don't know the guy, but that's what he said. Yeah,
he seems too cool to be a liar.
Hopefully, he seems like a very honest, like a truthful person. Yeah. So it's just to me how it comes off. Yeah.
I like Wolf's idea that he told us, I guess last week or sometime, that they should turn House of Black face and have them go after the patriarchy for the US titles.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Buddy Matthews just re-signed, so that's awesome.
But I would love to see. Malachi, he could hold the trios titles and a singles title. I don't know. I don't think he wrestles that much for that, and it's weird. House of Black just aren't on TV right now.
Well, that's because Buddy Matthews was gone.
Yeah, but you could at least do the Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King and Malachi.
They weren't on this week, but they were on last week.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They just weren't on this week. Yeah, and they do that a lot. They're off for a little bit and back and off and back. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. I would love to see a Malachi Black singles run. I think you should be in the world title race, but maybe the international title or the TNT title first. See how it goes. Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Ooh, if we wait until Ospreay has the world title and then have Malachi chasing Ospreay, I would enjoy that.
That'd be great. All right, so let's get to where's this going?
All right, so we have the Learning Tree and his saplings who were attacked by Suzuki. Well, I guess Jericho was attacked by Suzuki after the match, and then the saplings ran out to save Jericho. And then Shibata ran out to save Suzuki. So where is this going? Is Suzuki joining Hook, Joe, and Shibata in this nameless faction? Or do you think this is just a one-off? If he is joining the faction, who do you think is going to join up with the Learning Tree? Because then they'll have fewer members. It just seems odd. I know Shibata had been taken out by their Learning Tree minions, or saplings, I should say. And so this was him returning. But what do you think Suzuki has to do with any of this?
Yeah, like you said, I kind of feel like it was a one-off. Shibata running in and helping Suzuki after the match Wednesday. I don't think Suzuki wrestles in AEW enough for them to really put him in a faction. I don't see it happening, honestly, and I think the feud will stay 3-on-3 as it is. Kind of hint it does make you think he might end up in the faction because AEW does that sort of thing all the time. It's definitely a faction based company. I'd say.
Well, I was just going to say they put Ishii in a faction,
Right.
and he wrestles about the same amount as Minoru Suzuki does.
True, but it seems like Ishii's going to be around for a little bit, and I don't. There's a dog, and I don't get that impression about Suzuki.
Yeah, that's a good call.
So yeah, I just like I said, I don't see him. Come here. I don't see him joining up. Honestly.
Okay. My next, where is this going? Jeff Jarrett's motivational speech to Bryan Danielson. Is this a new partnership that we're seeing form, do you think? Or is it just sagely advice?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
We got Jeff Jarrett.
Hey, come here. Stop it.
Our
Stop.
dog is barking, sorry.
Stop.
We got Jeff Jarrett with a motivational speech to Danielson. Is this a new partnership or just sagely advice he's imparting on him?
I think just sagely advice. Yeah. That you're asking where's this going. I honestly don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can have my theory. It seems AEW is sometimes very predictable, sometimes not predictable at all, which is one of the things I love about it. I'm pretty good at predicting wrestling. I've seen a lot of it. But if wrestling can make me wrong, make me guess what's happening, I love that. That's part of the fun of it. So why I say that is, this seems like it's going to lead to Jarrett, rooting for Danielson, helping him, and then of course turning on him, because Jeff Jarrett, he's usually a heel. He's dirty. He's known as a dirty wrestler throughout. I don't mean in the bad way. I just mean his character is dirty, as a dirty wrestler. Throughout most of his career, he's turned more than anybody. I think and yeah, I don't see it lasting. And people have responded and are cheering Jeff Jarrett now, which hasn't happened in AEW. I like him. He's not as good as he once was, but I think he's still pretty good. And he's over 50, and he can still. I think he is, and he can still go. And so I've liked him in AEW, but most of the people I don't think have appreciated him yet. And now with this new personality where he's, kind of winding down his career and wanting to do something with it, and then also he's living through Bryan Danielson, wanting him to do something with the end of his career. People have responded. But yeah, where's it going? Like I said, the obvious way is a turn. I'd like to see them do something more interesting with it. Some people think they might end up adding Jarrett to the All In match. Some people would hate that idea. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that idea.
I don't personally think it's going to happen, but it would be something unpredictable. I mean, Swerve versus Danielson versus Jarrett. I think that'd be cool.
That's garbage.
No, it's not garbage.
No, if you're taking away my Swerve versus Danielson match and you're adding a third person into it, yeah, no, it's garbage.
It's not garbage, but I mean, a Swerve and Danielson singles match would obviously be a lot better than a triple threat with Jarrett added. I'm just saying it would be nice because it like you wouldn't see that coming, really.
Yeah. I don't want
to. That's the reason,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd rather see Swerve and Danielson. Don't get the wrong impression.
Well, while you were answering, it made me realize something that I didn't realize when I was writing this. Jeff Jarrett's from Tennessee, and they were in Tennessee. Do you think that is the reason that they stuck him in that segment? Because then
no, because he's been in segments where they aren't in Tennessee. But I mean, that's the reason maybe it got such a positive response.
Yeah.
because he's loved in Tennessee, and he used to wrestle a bit in the USWA, the federation where Jerry Lawler won the title like 60 times or something. Where he's kind of king of Memphis, and Jeff Jarrett might be number two, at least in the newer era of wrestling, might be number two. So he's liked there, definitely. And like I said, he's still in great shape. Castellar, Daniel Garcia pointed out Billy Gunn is still in tremendous shape.
Yeah,
he
for real.
really is, man. He's another 50-something guy who is in better shape than he was like 25 years ago, I think. Billy Gunn is. So, yeah.
And I actually have.
And that one thing you said, we're going to talk about that later. The thing you just said. I'm not going to share it with people, but we will be talking about that later.
Oh,
go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I have another Jeff Jarrett related question.
Okay.
What repercussions do you see coming from Jeff Jarrett's interference in the Blood and Guts match, where he freed the handcuffed Swerve to get him in the ring, which ultimately aided in Team AEW pulling out a win?
Well, this is one, yeah. Like you said, we can't. It's interesting that they're using Jeff Jarrett in this way, being so key lately. I don't know where it comes from, where it's coming from, but I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Feels like something Chris Jericho would come up with to me.
Yeah.
Of course, Danielson, they say, helps out with booking some, with ideas some. And as I said, Chris Jericho is known to as well. And like I said, this just seems like a Jericho thing, a Jericho idea to me. But to answer your question, what repercussions will he receive? I think we'll see those repercussions. They're going to come from the elite, obviously. Yeah. And I think we'll see them tied in with Jarrett and his friendship or whatever with Danielson. I think we'll see them tied in, whether Jarrett ends up as a member of the elite, which easily could be. He's one of the winningest wrestlers in AEW, several time WCW World Champion, Jeff Jarrett. He could end up as a member of the elite. That would be pretty interesting to me. That could be the way they're going. But the elite, as I said, will be involved whichever way Jeff Jarrett goes, whether he stays on Danielson's side or does the swerve, the heel turn, and maybe goes with the elite. They'll definitely be involved with that main event angle. That's the feeling I get.
I was thinking maybe Hangman was going to play a role. I mean, I know he's in the elite, but I mean, since he was the one that handcuffed Swerve to the cage in the first place, and Jarrett's the one that cost him the win, I'm sure in Hangman's eyes, at the, what's that called? Owen Hart
Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hangman definitely feels as though he should be next in line for the world title. I think most people feel he hasn't done enough lately to earn it. I mean, he's a former world champion. He's one of the best world champions, I thought. But he hasn't done, in my eyes, he hasn't done enough lately to earn a shot. So just have some more matches and get back up there. And I could see Paige taking on Swerve or Danielson or Darby Allin, whoever ends up as champion in the next month.
I don't know. You always see, not always, you often see people return from injury to be just where they were when they left. And he wasn't wrestling because he had personal issues going on that he needed to attend to. So I feel like that's no different than an injury, really. Outlying circumstances. I'm okay with him just jumping right in.
And speaking of which, Castellar Daniel Garcia brings up another point. Says John Moxley's AEW run has been fantastic, and talking about jumping right back in. He's on vacation right now. That vacation that he's been trying to take for 2 years, but top guys keep getting injured, and he's their ace. A lot of people say he's one of their top wrestlers for sure. And Moxley keeps staying around so that the top of the card doesn't get too
thin.
weak. Yeah, thin. So he's finally on that vacation, and my point is, I think he'll jump right back into his spot when he returns. Yeah. So maybe there's a point for Page doing the same. If he jumped into the world title, I wouldn't have any problem with it. Just like I said, a lot of people feel like he needs to get some wins before he's right back in it.
I think
So,
that with Swerve as the current champion, that negates the need for that because
yeah,
of the
just a
history with
feud.
Swerve. Yeah, like I mean, I'm cool with seeing Danielson versus Swerve. I think the match is going to be really good, but I really wanted to see Hangman versus Swerve again.
Yeah,
Their matches have been in my top 10 for AEW for like multiple times. So I say give me more. All right, we're moving on to some collision things.
Okay.
So is that cool?
Yeah.
So this isn't really a what's kind of a where is this going? Two matches recently, one last week and one this week, had audience members chopping wrestlers while their opponent held their arms behind their back. Both of these were done by faces, Osprey and Dax Harwood. What are your thoughts on this? Like, why are we seeing this? Because we went to an independent show, and that also happened at the independent show.
Yeah, Sunday we went to an AML show, which is an independent in the South here, mostly in North Carolina, but in the South here. And right, they did it. Who was it? Ryan Nemeth was on the card in the main event, and he did it to the AML champion, Brad Attitude, where he held his arms while like 3 or 4 audience members chopped him, including a little like a 10-year-old girl who chopped the shit out of him.
That girl's not 10.
12. Okay, I don't know.
No, she was like 16.
Which one's 16?
Oh.
No.
Yes.
Anyways, there was a girl who chopped the shit out of Brad Attitude, yeah, at the show we went to. Also, at the end of the AML show we went to, just as real quick, Nick Nemeth showed up at the end, to kind of help out his brother. I was not expecting that when we went.
And now he's going to be in the main event at the next show.
Yeah, in August in Salisbury, North Carolina, Nick Nemeth is going to take on Brad Attitude for the AML title. So AML, they're very. If you're in the South, if you're in North Carolina, check them out. They put on good shows and they get big stars. I mean, we've seen Enzo wrestle. We saw Too Cold Scorpio wrestle last month. As I said, we've seen Ryan Nemeth, the Guns, Nick Nemeth. I mean, they get people to wrestle, and not only that, but they get awesome people to do autograph signings, like Jerry Lawler, Jake the Snake Roberts, Kurt Angle, Arn Anderson, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Yeah, I mean, check them out if you're in the South, AML in North Carolina. But I digress.
Anyway, back to chopping.
Yeah, I'm sorry. How do I feel about the chopping?
The audience, specifically.
The audience chopping.
Yeah.
I like it because it's cool. It's a really great fan interaction. I mean, man, how much would you love to chop a heel wrestler? So neat, and be able to tell somebody and to be able to know that you did that.
I have no desire to do that.
Very cool.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
But at the same time, I could see something bad happening eventually. You end up getting some drunk crowd member, and they end up maybe punching like in the face and really hurting someone. You put someone's hands behind their back, you're really opening them up to anything. So I just, as dumb as people are, I feel like someone would do that eventually and ruin it for everyone. So maybe don't do it. Like I said, I just see it leading to something bad eventually. Maybe I'm just pessimistic.
I believe with AEW, both of the people that chopped the wrestlers were like 7 to 9-year-old girls, like on each show.
At AEW?
At AEW.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I didn't know if that changed your thoughts, if they were intentionally targeting younger, weaker looking people, so that they wouldn't actually injure the wrestlers.
Yeah. I mean, good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It just seemed odd, like if does this for us 3 times in like a week and a half to
Yeah.
have seen it. So I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's catching on apparently. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, share a point. Another point. Castellar Daniel Garcia is saying, and other people, you can talk to us too. Just letting you know. Says the next AEW game needs a tag team career mode, definitely, and an AEW versus Ring of Honor career mode. That would be very cool.
That'd be very cool, yeah.
But yeah, I haven't played it in a little bit, but I love the AEW game. I know a lot of people were down on it. But AEW Fight Forever, I have it on the Xbox Series X, and that version the graphics are bumped up just a little bit, and yeah, I enjoy that game. I think it's a very good kind of homage to the older games like WCW NWO Revenge and WWF WrestleMania 2000 and those. So if you were old enough like me to be around for those games when they first came out, I think you'll like AEW Fight Forever. And you can check it out. I did a review of Fight Forever back when it came out, and that is on YouTube under No Bones About Wrestling. So if you want to check that out, I'm not going to talk any more about it. Just check out the review if you want to see it.
I am, because I didn't grow up playing Revenge and those other games because I wasn't allowed to play video games and I didn't watch wrestling. But I also really enjoy AEW Fight Forever. I play as Thunder Rosa and she's awesome.
And that's the thing. Like someone who's played a lot of games can play it, or Kay Fabulous has not played any wrestling games before, any wrestling video games.
Not only that, but like I generally hate fighting games.
Right.
Like I play a lot of video games, or I have over the years, and I've always done like RPGs, and fighting games I've always kind of detested because I thought they were too difficult to pick up because I have a hard time remembering like all the different combinations and stuff. But with the AEW game, I feel like they do a really good job making most of the things like pretty smooth without having to memorize a bunch of button combinations.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So what is going on with the tag belts for Wembley? We have the Acclaim, who called out the Young Bucks and FTR. I think that was on Collision. It might have been on Battle of the Belts. But where is this going? Like, with the Acclaim calling out both of them, do you think we're getting an FTR match before Wembley, and then we're getting the Acclaimed at Wembley, or what are they doing with this? Because we're coming up on it and we have nothing.
I think we're getting a triple threat tag match. I'll be surprised if that's not the way they're going. Yeah, I mean, it was a month ago, 2 months ago, the Acclaimed became #1 contenders. It was weeks ago. And the Young Bucks still have not given them their shot. The Young Bucks, frankly, haven't given anyone a shot at the tag titles lately that I can remember.
I read it's been 100 days. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I read.
Well, I can, I could see it. But I see them defending the belts at All In for sure.
Yeah.
And just, FTR is talking about how they want the belts back and want to beat the Young Bucks for them. And of course, the Acclaimed are the #1 contenders. So have, the first crack, so to speak, at the Young Bucks. So I maybe see, a triple threat match, and maybe you have FTR win an elimination match over the Young Bucks. Maybe you have FTR win a match over the Acclaimed, where the #1 contendership is not on the line, but just that FTR beat the Acclaim. So then you'd have an argument for them being in the match as well. I see it as a three-way. I see it as a three-way match. Yeah.
So if you beat the #1 contender, you think you have the right to worm your way into that #1 contender's match against the title holder?
I mean, it's wrestling. That's how I see it. Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair.
Seems fair to me. So Kessler Daniel Garcia just keeps throwing comments up. I'll just mention them as we go. Says Briscoe is a hard-hitting athlete. He is the modern Cactus Jack. I can, there's only one Mick Foley, so I don't know about that. I can see where you're coming from. If there is a modern Cactus Jack, he may be it. Yeah.
I've said the same thing.
Yeah.
But Asa's been like in love with Mick Foley since he was a child,
Yeah.
so, and I have not. So, but I agree with you completely. It's who he reminds me of when I see him
Oh,
wrestle.
I was gonna say that's my wallpaper on my phone. I was gonna show you, but I'm filming us
Using
with
your
my phone.
phone, all right, the last, where is this going? Kip Sabian says he is back and better than ever, and if Nick Wayne wants to take him on, he is ready. So,
Yeah.
so Kip Sabian was in a faction with the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. The Bunny is gone from wrestling. The Blade is injured, which just leaves him with the Butcher, who he's occasionally tagged with. But who do you think Kip Sabian needs to like rally around him in order to take on the patriarchy? Or do you think it's fine? Patriarchy has their storylines going, and then Nick Wayne has multiple things going because he and Kip Sabian are feuding.
Do we know why Kip Sabian is wanting to take on Nick Wayne?
Because Nick Wayne has been harassing him about his father dying 4 months ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Be an interesting feud. Nick Wayne, I feel, is underrated.
Kip Sabian, I feel like, is underrated.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're both underrated. Yeah, I agree. Kip Sabian, I would argue, is one of the most underrated wrestlers in AEW, and a lot of people refer to him as the forgotten fifth pillar of AEW. I mean, he was around like every week during those building block years for AEW, and performed well. Yeah, never held a belt, and then kind of got just disappeared from TV for a while, and now he's back.
Well, he had some stuff going on in his personal life also.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, remember he married Penelope Ford?
Yeah.
She had a miscarriage
Oh,
last
I
year.
remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Some time off together.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That, yeah.
He's not had good luck lately, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That sucks. But anyways, he's back.
Mhm.
And
they're doing something with him.
And what was the exact question?
Who do you think should join him in forming like
Battling
a new faction about Battle of the Patriarchy, or do you think they should just keep it Nick Wayne versus Kip and leave the rest of the patriarchy out?
I think Kip has enough charisma and talent that he can be on his own and get over. I don't think he's one. I said earlier, AEW is a faction based promotion, and they definitely are. This person's in a faction, this person's in one, this person joins one. You have him shifting all the time, and new ones occurring all the time. The conglomeration, the patriarchy, the elite, etc.
Some with better names than others.
Right, yeah. And so my point is, yeah, I think Kip should be on his own and get over by his own merit, because he definitely has the stuff to get over if he's given the opportunity.
Are there many wrestlers that aren't in a faction that get pushed?
There's some.
I guess like Darby.
Yeah.
I guess maybe just Darby.
No, there's more than that. Darby. Well, Hangman's in the elite.
Yeah.
Swerve's not in the faction
But it
anymore.
was like 3 seconds ago.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
In wrestling years, 3 seconds ago.
Exactly.
And same thing with Osprey. Osprey was like just a second ago.
Callis family.
Yeah.
Can we name that man? Not many are coming to mind. I'm sure they're out there, but yeah, not many are coming to mind right now. Top Flight, the tag teams aren't. A lot of them aren't members, like FTR, Top Flight.
Yeah.
They do their own thing. Well, the Lucha Brothers are Death Triangle, but.
And the Top Flight has Action Andretti.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a faction. That's just like a teammate they have. But yeah, very faction based. The Undisputed Kingdom, of course, we have, and we'll see what they're going to do with that. I don't know. When Adam Cole comes back, I don't know if they're going to just get rid of it or bump it up again. Who knows? I don't know.
Cool. So it's a Kip Sabian. Leave him alone.
But back to the point.
Yeah.
Kip Sabian. Let him do his thing by himself. Yeah.
Cool.
And get over or not by his own merits. No one else. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, that has been Where Is This Going?
Good questions, I thought.
Yeah.
Another Castellar Daniel Garcia comment. Loved the Sting retirement match, and his son now wants to wrestle. Yeah, we covered that a couple weeks ago here on the show. I'd be all for it. His son looked great. The one who was NWO Wolfpack Sting, I believe, is the one who wants to wrestle. NWO Wolfpack Sting at his retirement match is what I mean. And that match was fantastic. That whole show was fantastic. We were there. We were there. In the historic Greensboro Coliseum. I believe the biggest arena on the East Coast. I believe that's true. They sold the place out.
That was awesome.
They blocked out a bunch of seats, but most of the seats, like 18,000, they sold out. Wow. I mean, people really turned out and were going crazy for Sting.
It's like an alarming number of people.
Yeah.
We don't ever go anywhere. So when you're around no one and then suddenly around like that many people, it's like, oh my God.
There's a ton of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, our friend Dylan from Last Week in Wrestling actually bought us the tickets to see the show and came down from New York to see us in person for the first time. And so yeah, that was awesome. That was so nice.
He has the world's biggest heart.
Yeah, so nice of a gift. And as I said, that's one of the best. That's one of the top 10 wrestling cards I've ever seen for sure.
And you got to see it live.
Yeah, but yeah, they did a great job with Sting's retirement match. It's one of the best things that's happened in AEW, I think.
I think so too. Tony Khan also agrees.
Yeah, right. I think he said that's the best thing they've done. Yeah. All right, so coming up next, K Fabulous fashion do's and don'ts.
A lot of talking all in a row here.
Yeah.
All right.
Where she tells us, what's hot and what's not in wrestling fashion. Do.
Worried the fans don't give you enough recognition and respect for how special you are? Then do a go ahead and change the name of the international title to the American Championship and create your own gaudy and overly patriotic belt the way MJF did.
Do.
If you are the new American champ, do let the world know with your very own cheerleaders sporting red, white, and blue uniforms with your name across their chests, as MJF did on Dynamite.
Don't.
If you are itching to make a comeback using your former best friend as a punching bag in the process, don't wear blue jeans with cuts highlighting your hip joints like Chris Statlander did. Literally one of the stupidest things I have ever seen done to a pair of jeans.
It was strange, yeah. Do.
If you are a Yankee trying to pander to your Southern fans in Tennessee and Texas, then do wear white patent leather platform cowboy boots like Mercedes Moné.
I'm just glad you said Yankee.
That was I changed it just for you.
It's broken down.
Yeah.
I said Yankee.
Yankee.
Call them Yankees down here still.
That's what Asa calls them.
Yankee.
Yankees.
Yankee go home. We say. All right. What?
I'm sorry.
Do.
If your monikers are the Iron Sheik and the Sultan of Suave, do have a perfectly coiffed hairstyle like Mansoor from the Eminem collection. Sorry, it's...
Isn't it coiffed?
What did I say?
I don't know. Coiffed?
Coiffed?
I think it's coiffed.
It is coiffed. I meant
Coiffed.
coiffed. Sorry, I think probably spelled it wrong.
It's all right. That's a weird word. Do.
Lots of betrayal this week. If you are a betrayed AEW champion, do change your 40s Hollywood starlet look to someone that looks like they are descending into madness with wet hair and sharp makeup, like Toni Storm on Battle of the Belts. That is this week's fashion do's and don'ts.
Thank you, Kay. We appreciate it.
One thing we didn't talk about, but I feel like is worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Nigel kept calling Pac Puck during the match. What is up with that?
I feel like maybe Tony he calls him Pac.
He calls him Pac.
Okay.
Everyone says Pac except for Nigel, and Nigel only sometimes says Puck.
Well, and then our friend Wolf, who does a lot of the watch alongs that we do for AEW, he calls him Pac too.
He calls him Pac.
Puck.
Not
Yeah.
Puck. This is
Puck.
like
Puck.
P-U-C-K.
People can't seem to get it right, even though they say it on television. Pack.
Mm-hmm.
P-A-C, pack.
Wolf says it like Tupac, but without
Yeah.
the two.
Right. Or X-Pac.
Oh, yeah.
Without the X.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just
but yeah, it's
like
pack.
Yeah.
It's pack people. Yeah. And I don't get why their own announcers don't get it right. I mean, that's strange.
Well, this is like when Kevin Kelly started and he didn't know how to pronounce Takeshita's name. Come on.
Don't even start me with Kevin Kelly.
All right, so what's up next?
Sharing some more comments here from Castellar Daniel Garcia. He's definitely letting us know what he thinks tonight.
I like it.
Said Owen Hart rules. Definitely, yeah. Like I said, I'm liking his opinions. Definitely. Loved Owen Hart. One of my favorite wrestlers for sure. He and Brett, I loved them both growing up, and it's just it sucks that now the first thing you think of when you hear Owen Hart is tragedy.
I actually don't.
Really?
Yeah, I now think of the Owen Hart tournament.
Okay. Well,
Isn't
that's
that
good.
cool? Like that's such a positive thing, that exists to change what comes to my mind first,
Yeah. A lot of us think tragedy.
Yeah.
A lot of wrestling fans, especially if you're around, like watching the pay-per-view when it happened, and they were just like, "This isn't part of the show. He died." Everybody. I mean, that was fucking Jesus. That was so sad.
And then they kept wrestling.
Because they didn't want to have to refuel. They didn't want to have to refund all that pay-per-view money. Bad call. I think. I mean, somebody died. Stop the fucking show.
Well, they're essentially wrestling in a crime scene.
Right. Yeah. So, that's a bad call. But hey, it was a call made by Vince McMahon. So who's surprised, really? I wasn't.
What's up next?
Oh, next. Wait, I'm getting a signal of some sort. It's time for the AEW news transmission. Oh, which apparently I'm doing.
Oh, was I? I've been
I can do
for
it.
like an hour.
Yeah, I can do it. It's fine. Okay.
It's long. I'm sorry. I took out stuff I thought wasn't important, but there's just a lot.
It's all right. First, the AEW injury report. Bunch of people injured, so let's see. Jay White's injury that caused the Bang Bang Gang to vacate the AEW World Trios titles is a legitimate foot injury, but White is not expected to miss a significant amount of time. Great. Great news. Killswitch, formerly Luchasaurus, and now 1/3 of the AEW World Trios champions, hurt his arm during the match against the Bang Bang Gang for the vacant Trios titles. It's expected Killswitch will work through it. The injury appears to be a partially torn biceps. Jesus Christ. Sounds like he needs a rest. Maybe surgery? I don't know.
What's interesting is the person after him is out for a torn bicep. So it's interesting that his tear is not bad enough, I guess.
Well, you remember, was it Cody Rhodes was that a partially torn bicep or something else?
That was a partially torn pectoral muscle.
Yeah. Man, that was
gross.
When he wrestled, who did he wrestle?
It was Seth Rollins, wasn't it?
No.
I think it was.
Anyway, when he wrestled whoever he wrestled, and he took off his jacket or whatever he had on, and you saw that, that bloody, a hematoma? When you see the blood come to the surface like that, or just under the surface, a hematoma across half of his body, and then he wrestled. That was something else. That was that was a moment in pro wrestling, definitely.
It was Seth Rollins.
Never seen. Was it Seth Rollins?
It was Seth
Okay.
Rollins.
Never seen anybody wrestle with such a visual injury. We'll call it as that. That is something I'll always remember in wrestling for sure. Back to the injury report. An injury update is available for Dalton Castle, former Ring of Honor World Champion. He will miss the remainder of 2024. Very sad. At first, it was assumed this was related to him being knocked out during his match with Roderick Strong on the July 10th Collision. However, Dave Meltzer is reporting that Castle is dealing with a torn biceps. So not partially torn like Kill Switches, but all the way torn.
Mhm.
So that sucks. We love Dalton Castle. Such a good wrestler and so funny at the same time, too. I think he's the funniest wrestler around.
Oh my God, yes.
If you like comedy in your wrestling.
Which I do.
Shane Taylor missed Collision this week after suffering an undisclosed injury at Death Before Dishonor.
No, during Death Before Dishonor.
No, excuse me, at Death Before Dishonor. Chris Jericho said in an interview after Wednesday's FTW title defense that he has a broken pinky on his right hand. It's unknown if this is a kayfabe injury or a legit injury. We'll see soon. We'll see if he's back soon or not.
They trick me so well that like it didn't even occur to me that could have been fake.
Really?
Isn't that ridiculous?
That's
like
the first thing I think on
I
wrestling is
know.
this is fake.
Well, that's what I normally think, but with Chris Jericho, it's like, oh, he broke his pinky. I bet it was from all that shopping. Like, it just didn't even like cross my mind.
It could. I mean, it could have
Because
been.
it wasn't reported by anyone except Chris Jericho.
Really, it could have been. Could have been broken the way they were chopping each other. That was.
I'm just a sucker.
Stupid. It's fun to, I try as best I can not to get duped, but that suspension of disbelief is what makes wrestling so fun.
Yeah.
When, we're on the internet and we talk about this behind the scenes and this is how they do it and this is why they did this and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I enjoy it and I like talking about that stuff, but, it takes some of the fun out of it. So, when I'm watching, I try as best as I can to just, suspend disbelief and not even think about all that shit and just enjoy the show, and as much as I can, just take it seriously. So
I took it
maybe
seriously.
you're just in that zone.
I was in the collision reporting zone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I must report anything that happens on Collision.
All right. Last injury report. It's believed Sky Blue has undergone surgery on her broken right ankle. Her boyfriend, Kyle Fletcher, posted a photo of her on X underneath a sign that said day surgery and asked for, quote, prayers and cat toys for the couple. I guess Sky Blue likes playing with cat toys.
It's the only logical conclusion that can be drawn from that.
Mm-hmm. Now for the news. The Friday, July 19th episode of Rampage averaged 284,000 viewers. Ugh, not good. That's down 16.2% from the previous week. It's the lowest audience total the show has done since June 7th. In the 18 to 49 demo, Rampage drew a .10 rating. That's down 16.7% from last week. It ties the fourth highest rating the show has done since May 18th. And Rampage was up against the Olympics. And what else? Oh, it was up against the Olympics. I know that.
The past one. No, wait, I'm thinking of Dynamite. Because Dynamite and Battle of the Belts had really shitty numbers, and so did Collision. But they were up against the Olympics and a UFC fight.
Oh, wait. Rampage, I'm sorry. Rampage was not up against the Olympics.
Yeah,
July 19th was not up against the Olympics. It just fell for whoever knows.
It might have been up against the Olympic trials because some of those were televised.
Yeah. All right. Saturday night's AEW Collision averaged 472,000 viewers on TNT. That's all right.
This is before Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 Saturdays ago. Averaged 472,000 viewers on TNT. That is up 30.4% from the previous week. It's the best audience total for the show since May 18th. It's Collision's fourth largest viewership of 2024. Collision drew a .15 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. That's up 7.1% from the previous week and ties the second highest rating the show has done in that category in 2024. Considered a pillar of the AEW roster, Darby Allin has been with the company since its introduction. He's an AEW original. He told Uprocks that the shows AEW offers now, quote, are just so much better than they used to be. I agree. Uh, he said the shows are just so much better. I feel like you kind of have to throw crap at the wall and see what sticks for the first few years. Yeah. They've had their growing pains. Yeah. Allen said, quote, to get on Dynamite, you really have to be good. It's no longer, oh, I'm friends with this guy, so I'm going to give him a handout and just put him on the show. It's not about that anymore. You got to put up, you got to perform, and you got to actually bust your ass, or you're not going to get on the show. And a lot of the people that were not good were weeded out the first couple of years.
I put that on because he was like very honest and kind of harsh.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think he's right on.
I think he's right too, but you don't normally see wrestlers just come right out with it like that.
Yeah,
like Darby Allin.
I think this version of AEW, right now, I think it's the best they've been since maybe like 2021, 2021 or so. When Punk was there, and before all the shit between him and the Young Bucks and everybody else.
That was 2021.
I feel like it was 2021. I could be off on the
No,
dates.
I don't think so.
I don't know how time works anymore after the pandemic.
He joined in the fall of 2022 and left after All In 2023. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I think she's right. I think she's right. Yeah, she is right. She is right. 2022. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the best they've been since then, I think. Melissa Santos revealed on Instagram that she has joined the company. I'm not familiar with her. She included the hashtags, quote, announcer, and quote, and hashtag backstage interviews in her posts. Okay, so that's who she is.
She was on the show this week.
What show? Some show.
I've watched a lot of wrestling this week. I've seen like 5 wrestling shows this week.
I've been to one.
I was counting that one as one.
Oh, okay. Following MJF's victory over Will Ospreay on Dynamite last week, Ric Flair posted to X, writing, quote, congratulations, MJF, on becoming the international champion. Once again, great minds and great talent think alike. Woo! MJF responded to Flair's post during a recent interview with Sports Illustrated. MJF said, quote, there's a reason that after my match, Ric Flair posted a side-by-side comparison photo. I'm Ric Flair reincarnated, and he's not dead yet, and with all due respect to Rick, better. He continued, what's this company without MJF? It's boring. This is the most people have talked about my company in months. Thank me later. If you're not going to give me my just due now, you'll have to when it's all said and done.
I love how he stays in character for like everything.
Yeah. Hopefully he was in character for the better than Ric Flair
I think he was.
Comment.
And partially.
And as Castellar Daniel Garcia point out for us, there's a film coming out about Ric Flair. It's produced by The Rock's production company. And Castellar Daniel Garcia here says, hope the Ric Flair film is good. I hope it is too. Man.
I'm assuming he's like on board with it. Yeah.
I feel like he has to be.
Yeah.
I don't think The Rock would do it I don't know how The Rock personally, but I don't think he would do it without Flair being on board with it, Yeah,
that's what I thought too, especially because Charlotte's working for WWE.
I wonder who's going to be Ric Flair. Who knows? I will definitely. I don't know. I doubt I'll go to the theater for it. Shit, maybe I would, but we'll see if it looks good or not. But I would definitely give it a watch by the time it comes to, home. Being able to watch it at home, I would definitely got to see the Ric Flair movie to see what the fuck it is and if the guy is any good at playing Flair and all that. I would definitely be curious to see it. And if you're going to make a movie about a wrestler, I feel like it's, there are a lot of guys who have interesting stories, definitely, and you can make a movie about their life. But I think the first two would have to be Flair and Hogan. Just they're the Beatles of pro wrestling, Nobody made more money in the South, I don't think, than Ric Flair. And I think, over his career, I don't think anyone's made more money. Maybe The Rock, but I don't think anyone's made more money than Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan, I think, is still the most popular wrestler of all time. I mean, so many people, especially those who don't watch wrestling, you say pro wrestling, they say, oh, Hulk Hogan, you know? And we just watched Santa with Muscles last night, which is a film from like 30 years ago.
You have to tell them why so they don't think we're just crazy.
Oh, well, we do a thing every year where, just between us, we're married, no secret. We're married, so every year we do a thing just between us where for a couple weeks we kind of pretend it's Christmas.
It's called Christmas too.
And we call it Christmas too. And so we, have Christmassy foods. We watch Christmassy, movies and TV shows, and
We
give each other gifts,
yeah.
things like that. Sometimes we'll decorate the house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's something just we do. It started during the pandemic when we were just like,
everything was awful.
Everything was awful.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, what would be not awful? And we were like, let's do Christmas again. So, anyways, that's something we do. And that is why we watched Santa with Muscles last night, which stars Hulk Hogan as a man who is rich and he gets hit on the head in a fight and he gets amnesia and someone tells him he's Santa Claus, so he believes he's Santa Claus. And then he does all this shit and helps out an orphanage. And it's terrible.
It's awful
It's
and
terrible.
awesome.
Hulk Hogan is a terrible actor.
Unbelievably bad.
He's really bad. It's
and the jokes are just painful. Painful.
It's bad.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, if you
like bad movies.
Right. Yeah, Hulk Hogan, bad in it. It sounds like he's never heard anyone speak before.
Like another human?
Yeah, another human speak before. Like the way he delivers his lines doesn't make sense. It's bad. Okay. I don't know what got me on that.
You're talking about Hulk Hogan and a movie that you would want to see?
Oh, I was talking about Ric Flair and movies.
So I'm gonna say something before you move on.
Okay.
If I got to see a movie about a wrestler's life that I find interesting, I would like to see one about Diamond Dallas Page.
Okay, why?
I just think his story is really interesting. He didn't get into wrestling until really late.
Yeah.
And he helped a bunch of guys get in. And then just the work that he's done in the ring, outside of the ring, and then outside of wrestling.
WCW World Champion.
Yeah, helping wrestlers who are injured and people who are like racked with pain and paralyzed, like helping them try and overcome their physical obstacles. I think it's fascinating and just awesome.
Yeah. Helped Scott Hall get out of a wheelchair before Hall died. Helped out Jake the Snake Roberts lose a ton of weight. Helped Mick Foley lose a bunch of weight, and like Kay said, he's helped out a lot of guys. So yeah.
DDP yoga.
DDP yoga. Yeah, if you want a good workout, try. Especially I'm out of shape.
God. So, I did like half of one video and was like, no.
Yeah, DDP yoga is tough.
It does not fuck around.
All right. I want to be done before Dynamite starts.
Sorry, go ahead.
In a post on X, and we will be done before Dynamite starts, I promise you. In a post on X, we got 20 minutes. In a post on X, Sammy Guevara talked about he and wife Ty Mello preparing for their AEW returns while also praising Mello, saying she doesn't get the credit that she deserves. And just a spoiler warning for Ring of Honor. So if you don't want a Ring of Honor spoiling,
just turn the volume down.
Turn the volume down for like 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Sammy Guevara, after that comment, he made an appearance at a Ring of Honor taping in Arlington, Texas. He came to the aid of Dustin Rhodes by attacking members of Dark Order who were working Dustin Rhodes over. So Sammy Guevara back in wrestling. I love him. He's great, I think, and is only going to get better, and so he's back. So awesome. Let's see. Bryan Danielson's in-ring contract with AEW, they say, is set to expire August 1st. Again, I don't know if that's kayfabe or true. In an interview with the Rich Eisen show's T.J. Jefferson, Tony Khan said, quote, I'm sorry. Said, quote, I can't say how much time Brian has left in the ring, but he has said this will be his final year. This is going to be the year Brian hangs it up from full-time wrestling. At that point, it's going to be a sad day for pro wrestling and for me personally. Yeah, I agree. When Jefferson asked if Khan planned to keep Danielson on once his full-time in-ring career was over, Khan responded affirmatively and noted that Danielson is planning on the same. Khan said, quote, absolutely, 100%. I hope Brian will stay here for the rest of his life. And I know he's planning to stay with us for a long time going forward as part of the company. Hopefully, part of the company, hopefully. I would want Brian to stay with us as long as humanly possible. I think he loves Brian Danielson.
Well, like, if you were Brian Danielson and the billionaire you work for said that if he were to die, he would want you to take over his company, wouldn't you stay with that company?
I mean, yeah, if I was getting paid.
Yeah.
On a media call prior to Friday's Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, Tony Khan was asked about his take on unprotected chair shots to the head like the one Jack Perry took in the Blood and Guts match. Yeah, we didn't bring that up.
Mm-mm.
Very dangerous. I'm very against that. I know a lot of people love it. You know, for 1 second, I was like, "Holy fuck, look at that!" And then as soon as I thought about it, I was like, "That's not good." Um, but Khan was asked about his take on unprotected chair shots. Khan didn't want to give away the secrets and, quote, art of wrestling when answering and stood behind the health of the wrestlers following violent matches. So the deal was the chair, you know, what they'll do a lot of times is shave it down to where it's as thin as possible so it doesn't have a ton of weight behind it. So there's no risk of someone getting paralyzed and there's very little risk of someone getting injured. So that's the deal there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a wrestling.
So Tony Khan doesn't want to give away the secrets, but you're there just to spill the beans.
I'll give away the secrets. It's open season now. It used to be if you gave away wrestling secrets, somebody was going to beat your ass. I mean, you know, 35 years ago, 30 years ago, 25 years ago. But now it's all open. So, yeah, that's how they do that a lot of times. Wednesday night's Blood and Guts episode averaged 786,000 viewers on TBS. That was down 1.1% from the previous week. Second highest audience total Dynamite has done since June 5th. In the 18 to 49 demo, Dynamite drew a .26 rating. That's down 3.7% from last week, and is also the second highest rating the show has done in that category since June 5th. That's the third best rating Dynamite has drawn going back to April 10th this year. So pretty good, but not great rating for Dynamite as far as wrestling ratings go. But of course, as far as cable ratings go, very good rating. I mean, AEW stays at the top and near the top of cable ratings. You know, people make it out to be like, oh, the sky's falling and this and that. But they're always like number one, number two, number three in cable ratings. And so I don't know what happened. What people get in their minds.
We live in an age of streaming. Who cares?
And also that. And a lot of people stream it. And a lot of people are watching it in ways where they don't pay for cable or this or that. And, you know, they watch it for free somehow. And it's an age, right, where official ratings, I'm not sure how much they mean anymore. Okay. Camille is officially all elite. AEW's Tony Khan made the official announcement of the former NWA Women's Champion signing in a social media post last Thursday. Dave Meltzer reports in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Jon Moxley has been granted time off. I already said that earlier. Moxley has not wrestled since AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door 2024. Meltzer notes that Moxley has not been seen backstage at AEW shows since then either. So, nice time off. He earned it. In the new edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer confirmed that Buddy Matthews has signed a new contract with AEW. Awesome. Meltzer notes that the contract was signed months ago, describing it as a, quote, very lucrative deal. And Buddy Matthews has earned it. He always gives his best, I feel, and he is almost always phenomenal when he wrestles. And this is one of those things where for months people were saying, "Oh, he's going to WWE. He's going back to WWE. He's so unhappy. He's so unhappy there." And it just shows you people, you can't believe everything you read. You know, people read stuff on the internet and think it's gospel, when a lot of times it's just somebody made it up and there it goes. You know, they tell somebody and they tell somebody, blah blah blah. So yeah, don't believe everything you read or hear. The Friday, July 26th episode of AEW Rampage averaged 306,000 viewers on TNT. Pretty good for Rampage. Up 7.8% from the previous week. It's consistent with what the show's been doing lately. 6 of the last 7 episodes have averaged between 303 and 339,000 viewers. Rampage drew the same .10 rating in the 18 through 49 demo that it did last week. All right. Bunch of news.
I told you.
AEW was listed in a Monday press release recognizing feature films, TV series, and Broadway productions in Ohio that helped create jobs and nearly $300 million in revenue for production expenses and expenditures. In total, AEW will get $1.275 million from Ohio as part of the $36.7 million allotment. They are listed as AEW 2024 to 2025 Productions, Cleveland /TBD, which would indicate the announcements are set to come for a future special event or events, as this year's slate of pay-per-views has already been announced. Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer addressed the Angle and Daniel Garcia's status with AEW on Wrestling Observer Radio. Alvarez said, "I don't think it's 100% that he's coming back. I will say that, but I don't think that he has re-signed or decided to leave yet. That was one of the reasons that he was taken out in that storyline. He's not re-signed. He has interest from other companies. I bet. He has not made his decision. AEW is confident he will stay, and if and when that's official, he will slot back into a feud with MJF," he later added. So, yeah, there's a good reason to sign.
I hope he stays. It didn't even occur to me when they wrote him out that was why.
Yeah, me neither. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Saturday night's AEW Collision episode averaged 382,000 viewers on TNT, down 19.1% from the previous week. That was against the Olympics.
That was against the Olympics. And a UFC fight.
And a UFC fight.
The belts.
Yeah, that's tough. It's the second highest audience the show has done since June 29th. Collision drew a .12 rating in the 18 through 49 demo. That's down 20% from last week. Battle of the Belts 11 aired on TNT immediately after Collision, averaging 308,000 viewers. That's down 27% from the last Battle of the Belts special, and is the lowest viewership total in the history of Battle of the Belts. It drew a .09 rating in the 18 through 49 demo, which ties the lowest rating in Battle of the Belts history. Again, it was up against the Summer Olympics and a UFC event. An interesting private meeting reportedly took place this week. Shane McMahon is said to have met with Tony Khan on Monday to, quote, discuss possibilities moving forward. WrestleTalk and Fightful are reporting the meeting was held in Arlington, Texas, where AEW is running a residency at the Esports Stadium until mid-August. This summer, Khan told Sports Illustrated, quote, "I heard the rumor he might be interested," said Khan. Quote, "I've never met Shane, but we have a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of respect for him as an executive and a professional wrestler." That I'll agree with. Shane is always welcome in AEW. I'll just quickly say I want to keep the McMahons as far as humanly possible away from AEW.
Yes. Like, even if you're not related to them and that's your last name, you better change that last name or you're not getting hired. That's how I feel about that.
All right. And real quick, because like I said, I want to be done before Dynamite. I don't want to keep you. We may not be done before Dynamite, but I'm trying.
We will be done
I'm
before
trying.
Dynamite.
I'm trying.
So next we have the
Top five, top five, top five.
so much worse than what
the
it
old
normally
one?
is. Yes. God.
It's the top five.
It's a top five.
All right, every week we slave and sweat and strive and work to bring you accurate ratings of AEW wrestlers. We rank the top 5 men, the top 5 women, and the top 5 teams in AEW.
For that week.
For that week, yes. For this past week. We have a secret formula we'll never ever tell. And we feel like these ratings are pretty accurate. So, Kay, what do we want to do first?
Men.
What?
Men.
Men first, okay. Number 5, back in the ratings, former international champion Orange Cassidy. He got a win over someone.
Yes, he did. He got a win over Johnny TV.
Johnny TV, that's right, on Collision.
Yes.
Number 4 this week, up one spot from number 5, Hologram. This guy's, just debuted a week ago, and it's been amazing. He's had 2 matches. He's undefeated in 2 matches. He's been amazing. I mean, if you haven't seen him, find those 2 matches. He is doing shit I've never seen before. And the crowds are really getting behind him. He's a fantastic luchador. Number 4 in the ratings. He beat the Beast Mortos on Collision this week. Number 3, back in the top 5, former TNT champion Darby Allin. He won the Royal Rampage Battle Royal on Rampage, which means he earned a world title shot at AEW Grand Slam in September. So he's number 3. Number 2, same ranking as last week. The man who won the Owen Hart Cup. He has a world title shot at All In, and he has never held a belt in AEW, and that's Bryan Danielson. And number 1, he's been there for months. The AEW World Champion, Swerve Strickland. So that's number 1, Swerve Strickland. Number 2, Bryan Danielson. Number 3, Darby Allin. Number 4, Hologram. And number 5, Orange Cassidy. So what should we do? Women or teams? Women? All right. Number 5, back in the rankings, former women's world champion, Thunder Rosa. She got a win over, who was it? What's her name? Maya World on Collision. Like I said, Thunder Rosa looked good.
She also played a part in the Willow match on Battle of the Belts.
Okay. What part did she play?
She.
Yes.
I said it when we watched. Ty Valkyrie did a run-in, and Thunder Rosa came out to stop her.
Stephen Chambers said, "Who?" I'm sure he's probably talking about Maya World.
Yeah.
She was nominated for PWI Rookie of the Year in 2023. Supposed to be pretty good. Didn't look good in this match, but as I said, Thunder Rosa, she looked impressive and got the win. So that's why she gets number 5 this week. Number 4, again, back in the top 5 and back in the company, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, former women's world champion. And she got a win over another former champion, Hikaru Shida. Number 3, another wrestler back in the top 5, Willow Nightingale, the CMLL Women's Champion. And if you don't know, that's a promotion in Mexico. That's where a lot of talent came the past couple months to wrestle in AEW.
And where a lot of AEW wrestlers are about to go wrestle.
Right. Number 2, same as last week, the Owen Hart Cup winner, and she has a world title shot at All In. It's Mariah May. And number 1, She has the longest winning streak in AEW. She's been number one for months. Toni Storm, the AEW Women's World Champion.
And I love her. You left out the fact that I love her.
And Kay loves her. And so do I. Number one, Toni Storm. Number two, Mariah May. Number three, Willow Nightingale. Number four, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Number five, Thunder Rosa. Let's see. Stephen Chambers has some different opinions here. He said Britt should be number two because beating Sheeta not easy. I hear you. I hear you. I just didn't rank her higher because it's her first match in months.
Mhm.
So we didn't rank her higher. Excuse me.
Yeah, and usually we take into consideration like who's the number one contender,
Yeah.
especially if they wrestled that week.
Right.
Also.
So Mariah May, number one contender, gets number two. I hear because you could have some argument for Britt at number three in my mind. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, beating Sheeta is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
He said put Mariah number four. I don't know. She's the number one contender, so that's why we keep her higher. He said trade Britt and Mariah. We got you. Like I said, you can make a case for Britt being higher, but she's not. She's number four. So now we're gonna do teams. Thank you though for your comments, Stephen. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, comment even if you disagree with us. Comment as long as you're polite. We'll talk to you. We'll talk about it. Okay, for the teams. Number five, back in the top five, the Acclaimed. They are the number one contenders to the AEW World Tag Team titles, and they've been that way for weeks. Yeah, eventually they'll get a shot. Number four, and they're down from number three last week because they didn't have a tag team match this week. The AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. Number three, they're down one spot from number two last week, and that is the trios team of the conglomeration. And that's Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Ishii.
No.
What?
It's Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, and Ishii.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. It's Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, and Ishii.
Yeah, which I think is a different formation of the conglomeration than was on the list last week.
Oh, I think it may be.
Yeah.
I think I might have taken the lineup from last week. I'm not sure. But yeah, excuse me. Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, the Ring of Honor World Champion, and Ishii. Number two, they're down one spot from number one last week. They're the AEW World Trios Champions, the Patriarchy. And number one, making their debut in the top five, Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs. They won the Ring of Honor six-man titles. Usually we don't rank Ring of Honor people, but the point is they won them on AEW Battle of the Belts 11.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an AEW match technically, and like I said, you got to love the Von Erichs. You got to go for them. And seeing Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs together, pretty cool. Seeing those families reunited. So that's number one, Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs. Number two, the Patriarchy. Number three, the Conglomeration six-man team. Number four, the Young Bucks. And number five, the Acclaimed. And those are your top five for this week.
It is now 8 o'clock, so we are going to wrap it up so that you can make it on time to Dynamite.
And two last comments here. Castellar Daniel Garcia says Toni Storm is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. We totally agree here. One of our favorites. Stephen Chambers says no Nick Ishii. We agree with that as well. Yes.
So thanks for joining us. Thank you for the guys that jumped in on the comments. We love it when you interact with us. It makes our show so much more fun to do. Please subscribe if you're not already.
Like us, thumbs up us.
Yep. All that good stuff.
We have audio. It's the same show, but in audio form, and that is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And
our normal show is on Monday at 6, so you can join us then.
Next week, AEW Weekly, back in its normal spot, Monday at 6 p.m., and that'll be on X, on Twitch, and on YouTube, as always. Mm-hmm. I think we may be doing a watch-along Saturday for Collision. Mm-hmm. So we'll watch our X account. That's where we usually let you know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Or if you subscribe to us on YouTube, it'll just tell you,
Yep.
So yeah, that's it. And thanks for joining us. Thanks to Stephen Chambers and Castellar Daniel Garcia. We always appreciate comments. We love people talking to us. Yeah. And so Dynamite's starting. So
Enjoy the wrestling.
yeah, enjoy the wrestling. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.